All right, so welcome to week 9, day 3. We are starting or delving into databases and our SQL module to be exact. The past couple classes, we looked at some um, initial queries to get some data back from SQL databases and started looking at how we can join together a few tables to pull back even more data. Today, we're going to start kind of expanding the queries we're looking at to kind of mimic what you'll see in practice. Like you're never just going to select all from one table in a database and just use that. That's not how real life works. You're going to actually want to figure out what you exactly need and write your queries to pinpoint specifically what you need, no more, because that query will take forever then trying to process millions of rows. And you're often not asked for just give me all this information. They're going to want to know like counts or averages or find me the most items sold on this day by this particular store in our group of store. It's not just a simple select star from database table. So today we're going to start looking at big queries. They're not going to be super big. You'll get even bigger when you go into the office and start working for a company, but this will be big for your purposes of just being introduced to SQL. So the past few classes we've been working with CARS database. Today is is the same. I forgot where I was going there with that phrase. I lose phrases all the time. But we're going to be using the CARS database to do more queries. Have you all pulled this up and spun it up on your own machine? Okay, I see one head shake. So just a
Yes.
reminder. Oh, and I see you heard a yes. Awesome. So if for some reason you hadn't the past 2 days and you want to work along with us in class right now, just go ahead and fork it and get it. It's in the README, tells you how exactly to get this image running. Super easy. Um, so go ahead and follow all those instructions to get that up and running. And I'm going to pull it off to the side here. I've already cloned it down. But if I look at my Docker images, I see I have no images built because I did a clean to remove all this stuff. If I do PS, I'm looking at all the containers, nothing's here. So I'm going to pick this back up so we could start messing with it and doing a large query. So let's see. I guess I got to start from scratch because I don't even have the image. We're just going to copy all these. Okay, we're building our image. We're going to run it. Okay, so now our image is up and running. But in order to interact with the database, we're going to have to get into this Postgres image to write queries against the database. So this is where we find the name of our container. Okay, we're going to exec into it. It's going to give us a shell that will allow us to interact with the database in this container. We put in our container name here. I'm just putting in the first three because I don't have anything else running. We tell what type of shell to open up when we exec into this container. All right, so now we can see this root at this container ID. So I am inside my container. I've went into it and I have a bash terminal here right now. So then within this terminal, I'm going to run this psql command, which is the Postgres SQL, and I'm going to open up or create a new database. Let's see. I'm just making sure I don't miss anything here. Okay, no, we're good. We're in. Okay, so we will go ahead and access our Postgres database. In our Docker file, it should have already created it. It's telling us to go ahead and use this Postgres base image. We're copying this initialization SQL script into this Docker entry point. This is in the documentation for Postgres. That's how you would figure out how to set this up. In this initialization script, we can see a whole bunch of create tables and then inserts into those tables. So that's how it's setting up our database. It's creating a database cars, we're connecting to it, we're creating tables, and we're inserting a whole bunch of stuff. And that's all done in this Docker file. So I don't have to do anything. My database will be already up and existing in here because we had our Docker file do that for us. FYI, if nobody had explained that out to you, how this image worked. And so I don't know if anybody did. This here is just us accessing that CARS database now. You're accessing from your local host, going through the port 5432, which is standard for Postgres. Your username is going to be Postgres, and then your database is the CARS. So now when you see this CARS equals and then the pound sign, that shows you are inside that database now. And we can take a look and do our, no, what is it? It's the other way. Yeah, I always mix it up. Do our /d, and this shows us all the tables that we have inside this database. So that Docker script worked, got all these up and running. So we are ready to start working with our database now. I am going to pull up the schema picture because as we work with larger queries, it is helpful to know how exactly your database is set up. And looking at this down here, all these different tables, and like we have the sequence, we're like, what the heck is that? This is not very helpful for us to see. We'd have to start digging around, looking at, how primary queues are connected to other tables, figure all that out. But the schema is a nice visual representation of how each of these tables are connected to each other. Did we learn about how IDs connect to another table when we did the joins in the last class? Okay, cool. So typically that ID you're going to have a key that's connected to something else in another table. And it's going to be, this is going to be like if I have app user 1, my name over here, then a user profile would have a 1 in here that would link to that app user. But y'all shook your head yes, that you kind of loosely understand how these connect up to each other and they're equal to one another. So we're going to do that now with our big query. So anytime we get a new query or a request for data from our database, there's 4 steps that the README has you do that are very important to follow. First, you're going to figure out what tables you need to answer the question. It's always one of the first things you do. You listen for your keywords and find which tables those exist in and that you're going to need. Second, you're going to figure out how to connect those tables because we can't, if we just select all from one table, that doesn't work. We have to join them. So you have to figure out how you can connect those tables with those joins on those keys that connect with the other table. And then third, we have to write a query getting all of the columns with some reasonable limit. And we'll take a look at that, what that means in a minute. So I told you you don't want to get everything back, but when you're forming your query, especially if it's a very large one, it's helpful to just grab everything all at once to see what you're working with. But make sure to only pull back like 5 entries or so. You don't want to pull back everything that exists because that will take a really long time. But you can limit to say, give me like 5 entries with all these tables combined, just to see what kind of fields you're getting back from your query. So that's usually the third thing you do. So first, you figure out what tables you need. Second, figure out how to link them. Third, get back everything you possibly can from that query, limiting it. And then fourth, you'll kind of work through and then filter out, aggregate, and do all those processes you need to do to get your data down to what is needed and nothing more. So here is our example problem now that I went through all that. Going to copy and paste it. I want to kind of have that schema up still. Let me make another. Okay, so the question is, I want to get the total number of each make advertised in each city, ordered by the city. So let's go look at our schema because that's a lot of, I'm trying to split this half and half. Okay, so this is a lot of asks here in this question. So let's break it down and figure out what tables we're going to need to answer this question. Okay, so what, I'm going to enter this down on lines so we can see a little easier. Somebody just read through this and tell me what tables stick out to you right away as needed for this. I want to get total number of each make advertised in each city, ordered by the city. So looking at our schema, where does this data exist that I'll need? Or at least one, which one table?
Car model,
Car model, yes. What do I need from car model?
the make.
Exactly. So we want total number of each make. So make is definitely an entry within this table. Or a field within this table. So we definitely need this car model table. That's good. What else do we need? We've got make. We want advertised in each city and then ordered by city. So what is another table we'll need?
User profile?
Perfect. Yep, we'll need user profile because city exists here. So in order for us to even find where these are advertised and order them by city, we need city and user profile. Total number of each make advertised in each city. So that's actually all I need because I'm going to be counting the makes advertised in each city. But they're a long way from each other, right? I can't just get user profile and car model. So that's not going to work. We got to figure out how we can connect the, let's see. I'm trying to figure out where I want to write this query. We'll write the query up here, but then we'll put it down in our terminal after that. But we're going to have to go through and join these tables, right? Because I can't just jump from user profile to car model. I have to join on these fields that relate to one another here. So it's pretty easy. You just look at what connects to the other, and let's go ahead and start doing. So we said our steps were we had to identify the tables that we need. We did that. We're kind of seeing how they need to join together, right? We're following by how they're joined to each other to get to the tables we need. So now let's write a query that's going to pull everything from this, all the data, and we're going to limit it to only like the top entry, okay? Just to see what it looks like, what all the data looks like. So first off, how do I grab information from the database? What's the keyword I use for my query?
Select.
Yes, select. So select is to grab all this, read information from the database, basically. How do I select everything? I just want to grab it all.
Star.
Star, perfect. So select star. That grabs all columns that exist in these tables, right? That's going to grab all these fields that exist in the tables. And next, we have to select all from certain databases, right? So let's start at user profile and just kind of work our way through, okay? So we're going to select all from user profile. Okay. Oh, from user profile. Now, did we do this the other day in class? Did we have, I don't know if you learned this in the other class, did we have little things after our table? Okay, shaking head, yes. What is this, Nicole?
It's an alias, right?
Yes,
So you can reference user profile without having to type out user profile. You could just say,
perfect. Yep, so I could just reference it by basically assigning it a variable we can use throughout but it's called an alias. That is 100% correct. So we gave it the alias UP because we're probably going to have to work with it later, especially because we're going to grab just the city later. We're not going to need all the rest of the stuff from there. So we're selecting everything from user profile. Now, how do we connect it to the next table? Because we're going to work our way through. We got to add all these together. So I select all from user profile, and then how do I get over to this table and select all of that? What do I have to do to these two tables we learned in the last class?
join them.
Join them, yes. So we will select everything from user profile, and then we're going to join the next table. So select everything from here, and then join app user. Let's also give that an alias. Okay. And then we can't just say join them. We have to tell them how they join, right? So how do I specify join app user? What's the next part? How do I specify how they're joined?
You're going to join the app user using on, and you can do U up, or yeah, you can do U up, and then account ID equals AU account ID.
Perfect, because we see in our schema that these two are related. So this is the same thing in both these tables. So that is how we do that. So we said select everything from user profile, join app user, and we said join them on these keys. We had our alias, so we didn't have to type in the whole user profile. We just said join user profiles account ID or join it on user profiles account ID with the user or the app user's account ID. And we are going to just go through the process of going down the line and joining all the rest of these tables in the same way. So then next we join advertisement. And here's where I'm just going to copy from the README because it's going to get really monotonous here doing this. But we step through, we join advertisement, we gave it an alias. Advertisement has app user account ID related to the seller account ID. So here they've got it a little backwards. They said on advertisement seller account ID, it's going to equal the app user account ID. And next we step to the car. We need to join advertisement and car. So we joined car, gave it an alias. App users, or sorry, advertisement's car ID is related to car's car ID. So that was easy to join there. And then finally we join our car model. And again, car model ID is related to the car model ID. We can see that here. So now I'm good to go, right? I just want to grab everything, right? Everything that exists in the database. No, maybe not. Not such a great idea. What if I have millions and millions and millions of entries in this database? Because we do. I just pulled a database query that I meant to that had 6 million entries in it, 6 million rows. So you could have billions and billions of rows. You don't want to grab it all. Never just leave a select all open-ended like this. Always throw in a limit. We're going to limit it to just one row. That's all I need to see because I just want to see how all these columns get added together in my query and what kind of comes back from that. And make sure every SQL query ends with your semicolon. If you forget it, let's do it without it. I'm just going to copy this, put it down here. So SQL queries don't care about white space. You can leave white space and it will work as long as you have the keywords correct and in the right order. But if I don't have the semicolon, if I just enter here, it didn't do anything. And that's because it's waiting for me to close the query. This semicolon is important to close the query. Don't fret. Don't be like, oh, I got to do this query again and throw that on. Because SQL doesn't care about white space or care about white space, I can literally just type a semicolon here. And it's supposed to close it. Did I have something wrong? What did I do wrong? It won't let me look. Okay, well, we're going to look at this one row, which is pretty lengthy, and then I'm going to go back and look why that query didn't work. Typically, you can just do that. You just throw on the semicolon at the end, and it goes ahead and spits out the query for you. You don't have to retype it or redo it. But let's look at our one row that we returned. This is a mess. So these up here are each of the column names, the fields in these tables. And down here isn't one row that we pulled from the database. One row of data gives us a lot of stuff. It gives us everything. It gives us every single field in this database, every single or table, and every single one in this table, and everything. This is great, but I don't need all of that stuff, right? I really don't care about profile ID because that's not what I want. I want to get total number of each make advertised in each city, ordered by city. So this is nice to see that we've got all we need. We've got make here. So we successfully grabbed make, right? We joined our queries correctly because I could see we've got the make down here. And then I can see we've also got the city. So that's the other thing I was worried about. I want city. So we've got that pulled right there as well. So our join works. That's what we were looking at. We wanted to make sure that our join got all the information we needed, and it did. Now it just has too much information. So this is where we move on to the next step, where we're going to start paring down our query to not return everything, but only what we need. So looking up here, I want to get the total number. Let's look at that first. So I want to get the total number of each make advertised in each city. When I hear total number, what do you think I'm going to have to do to these entries?
Sum, add them.
Yes, I could do a sum. In SQL, it's going to be a count. I'm going to count them. So that will work the same way where I'm going to add all of them up and just count how many things I have. So how we can do that, instead of selecting all, I want to select a count of everything. So right now, when I run this, select a count of everything, which I'm wondering if it's something. Oh, I hate trying to get out of this query stuff. What is a queue? No. Oh, I'm about to just kill this. This is okay. It's the \q. I always forget which slash and where. \q will get you out of that view of your. Okay, so let's see what went wrong here. Syntax error at. Oh, did I have the /d up there still? That might be what it was. No? Oh, probably that first one. That first D. Okay, yep, that's what it was. See, because SQL doesn't care about all the space you have in between everything. It will still go back and looked at my wrong D I had up there. Okay, so if we select, that's not what I wanted to select the count. Shoot, get out of there. You're just all gonna watch me backspace now. Okay, so if I select the count, now that gives me 233. So this is what this returns if I just select a count of all these joined up. But what is it counting? I had that question earlier and I had to think about it. What do you all think it's counting?
Counting the rows.
Yep, it's counting. Well, so it's basically counting all the rows that come out of this join. So we know on inner joins will only give you back the data that matches across all the tables, right? And it will exclude anything that doesn't have an entry that matches. So this counts just everything we got back from that query. Not very helpful, but we'll go ahead and figure that out now. So I don't want to count everything. I want to count each make in each city. So to do that, I can do something called a group by. I just want to group by make and city. I want to take everything I have and just put them into groups of make and city. And I want to count that. I want to count each make and city, basically. So we can do, instead of count everything, we're going to come down after our joins and group by now. So any conditions we want to throw on, we will put on the end, like an order by, group by, or any where statement we have where we want to filter out stuff. You throw that on the end after your select and joins. So here I'm going to group by, we said make and city. But that is going to be, let's see, so we have to specify the tables they come from. You can't just grab it. You can't just say make, because if I did make and city, it's going to be like, I don't know where those are, where they come from. So make comes from car model. We said car model was CM, so we have to do our alias and identify which table that's coming from. City comes from user profile. Okay, so we're going to group by make and city. However, if I have this down here, this group by, I have to make sure that instead of just select, so when I selected the count, this is what it returned. It returned a count. So if I try to group by make and city, it doesn't have those fields here anymore. All it has is count. So I need to add that in my select statement now to make sure those are available for me to grab and group by. Does that make sense? Anything you put in the select here are going to, usually you select column names in these tables. So you'll pick out, like, you would pick out select city, select email, select, you know, all these different things you want from each table. I just went ahead and aggregated by counting it first. And now we could have done it backwards. We could have selected our city and make first and grouped them and then done a count afterwards. But I'm kind of going, README does a little backwards than what I would do. It's grouping it first, or aggregating, sorry, it first by count. But so in order to group by city and make, I need to select those columns so that I can work with it, okay? So now when I select count and group by city and make, user from user profile, where is I get the syntax error? Oh, I don't need a comma there. I just need them between each of these, but not afterwards. Okay, this will be fine now. Okay, so now we're getting there. We have like the count of, let's see, city and make. Right, that's what we wanted. We wanted the count and we grouped them up by city and make. So there's 4, I guess, Volkswagens in this Van Noise, 2. I don't like this is backwards. I don't like the way this is reading. So I'm going to swap these up here because I don't like how those are reading. Backslash Q. Okay, here we go. I like this a lot better, having the make first and then the city. So now we can see there's, this is how many of these cars exist in these cities. We've grouped them up. We're grouping by make and city. So there should only be one line here, one row that says Volkswagen and Van Noy. Is that how I say that? I should choose one I can actually pronounce. Renault and Boston. There we go. But each of these only appear once because we've grouped up by these two fields. If we just grouped by make, then all Volkswagens would be grouped up together. We wouldn't have individual lines for multiple Volkswagen things. We just have one line for Volkswagen, right? So we're following how the grouping works. Sometimes grouping can be kind of weird, but grouping by make and city, make sure that we only have one line for each specific make and city. So this is almost there. We're almost there. We wanted to get the total number of each make advertised in each city. So we've done that. We've got the count of each make in each city. But now I want it ordered by city. So that's the easiest thing to throw on. I love it. I throw it on all my queries at work all the time, order by descending, but we're going to be ordering by ascending because we want A through Z. So let's go ahead and order by ascending. So if I just stuck this in, what do we think it's going to order by? It's going to order by which one of these? Oh, now that I got it off, is it going to order by count? City? What do we think? Well, we'll see. We'll see. Ascending. Oh, I have to give it. It will order by nothing because we have to tell it what to order by. So what should we order by? We want to order by city, right? And I wonder if I can. I'm curious. The README has you do something else, but I'm wondering if we could just order by that. Or if it's just city now. Nope, that worked. Okay. So you can specify which column to order by. Let's see if we could just make it city, because that's what our final thing is. Yes. So if I order by the user profile city, it works basically the same. It's going to alphabetize them by the user profile city. I just threw in city just because that's what our final table looks like, our final data output looks like. In the README, it says order by 2, which city was right here. So by 2, it meant the second column. So here, if I wanted to order by city, I'd have to pass in 3. But you can also explicitly say which column you want to order by. And ascending means A through Z, descending will go backwards. Yes, Art.
Can we try ordering by make? I'm curious to know if like it picks city because it was in the top level in user profile. But if it's way down a car model, I just wondering if you have to designate the table. Oh,
Nope.
guess it found it.
Yep. Because this is how this is what it's outputting as. It's just going to show up as make. Let's see, we can also do, I wonder if we could do it this way. Can't remember if this is the syntax. Trying to get a little fancy. Yep, it is. So you could order by 2 columns as well. I said go ahead and order by make first, So this is the make is going to be the A through Z first, and then city second. So underneath BMW, we can see the city starts with A and then goes up in alphabetical orders. So that's pretty handy. Um, okay, so this was our complex query, but didn't seem that complex, right? Once we broke it all down and just trying to remember how to group things up and, you know, specific syntax here and there. Count can sometimes get a little crazy. But are there any questions on how we approached this? Recapping, we figured out the tables we needed. We figured out how to join them. We grabbed everything to make sure we did our join appropriately. And then we filtered down, aggregated, did everything we needed to only get back what we needed and nothing more. All right. If we're good with that and there's no questions, oh, there's chats. Okay, good. It wasn't super important. I don't read the chats when we're lecturing. Okay. If there's no questions, I will stop sharing or stop recording. And then I have an additional problem we can go through if you'd like.